Hi, welcome to Abby's Book Reviews. This is the July wrap-up. There's only 5 hardcovers here, so I'm just going to show you the photos of the ebooks that I also read as they were ARCs. Love Songs and Other Lies by Jessica Pellington. This was so good. Oh my gosh. Virginia is running kind of from heartbreak, like 2 years previously, something like that. And she has the opportunity to intern for a band on a kind of reality TV show, and the band is her friend's band, so she goes along to help out and then discovers that their new guitarist is her ex that she hasn't seen for 2 years, and basically it's both of their point of views, which is really cool. And it's got all the backstory as well, which is awesome, and it slowly builds up to the heartbreak, what in the past, as well as leading forward in the present and seeing where it goes. And I absolutely loved it. You know me, I don't do contemporary, but so good. Gunslinger Girl by Lindsay Ellie. This is, oh my gosh, so awesome. So Serendipity has inherited 2 things from her mum. One of them is her sharpshooting and one of them is the pistols, and she manages to escape her home, which it's like basically as if the Confederates won in the Civil War, but it's because a second Civil War's taken place. It's really dark. That's why I would say it's dystopian, because it's as if a second American Civil War's taken place and the Confederates have won. Life is not as we know it. She ends up going to the end of the line, to the place the Confederates won't go, and ends up joining there and loving life. I want to say loving life. Ends up, anyway, like in all the intrigue and everything. And so good. Even if you don't do westerns or dystopians, I don't do westerns. I do dystopians, but I didn't have any dystopian tropes or anything that I could see. It's just so unique in my opinion anyway, and absolutely loved it. Go try it. The Book Nights by J.G. McKinney. So this is a retelling kind of Arthur. So Arthur is now a girl. It's, I would say, more dystopian world. Anyway, Morgan Le Fay has taken over. She is burning all the books that she possibly can get her hands on. Merlin is a librarian. Books have powers, like if you read them and stuff, they give you powers. Only certain books though. And yeah, she ends up like with her knights and with Merlin and trying to defeat Morgan Le Fay. I absolutely loved it. I was laughing quite a bit in it. I ended up crying right at the end because it was so emotional, but loved it. Shearwater by D.S. Murphy. So this, I don't really know how to describe it. This girl goes back to Ireland because her mum and dad have been killed. Yeah, it's really weird. It's got mermaids, but not as you know them. It's kind of cool. It's got like all the Irish folklore in it, which I didn't know about until reading this. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what to class as. I would guess it's classed as fantasy, but it doesn't have that fantasy feel. It's very contemporary in that way. But actually I really enjoyed it once I got into it and once I worked out what was going on. I loved the characters and I loved the setting. So, The Dragon with the Chocolate Heart by Stephanie Burgess. So Aventurine is a dragon. She's the youngest in her group. She's also the fiercest. But yeah, she's tricked into drinking enchanted hot chocolate and becomes a human. She ends up going down to the town and trying to make chocolate. It's basically, dragons have like their forte, I would say, their thing they're really good at, and she's trying to discover hers and finds out it's chocolate. A sea witch in one day. I can't remember if it was one sitting or not. I think it was pretty close to, I don't know, the fact I read it in one sitting does not tell you my thoughts about it, because I don't know, I can't even remember what I rated it. So I rated it as a 4. I'm now kind of thinking of dropping that, I don't know. So it's a origin story for Ursula, which I thought was really cool. I thought it was cool it was in like medieval-ish Denmark. Otherwise, I don't know. I really don't know what to say. I've kept saying it's amazing, and now I'm coming to this. I just don't know. If you want to, go check it out. I think it's definitely one of those hype books. Now, it's, you know, a couple of weeks since I read it, I'm not so hyped about it. I did really enjoy it while I was reading it, I know that. But now coming to think back on it and reflect on it, I don't know. I enjoyed like the aspects, like most of it. It's just, from what I can remember, the pacing is just a little bit off. But otherwise, I did enjoy it. Not trying to not put it down. I did enjoy it, and I gave it 4 stars. So, The Girl with the Dragon Heart by Stephanie Burgess. This is the companion novel. I'm not sure if I would call it a sequel to The Dragon with the Chocolate Heart. It does follow on from the story. I think it's about a year later, but it's from her best friend's point of view. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Oh my gosh, if you want a fun middle grade where it's female characters as the leads and they aren't princesses and they've got their own kick-ass thing that is so YA but in middle grade, these 2 books are so good. I don't want to say anything about this too much because it does ruin Dragon with a Chocolate Heart in a way, but it's so good. Girl at Sea by Lucy Courtney. There's this girl who goes on holiday with her friend and her mum and her mum's friend, her friend's mum, who's also her mum's friend. Anyway, there's like the 4 or 5, I think there might be another friend that goes. So there's like 5 of them. The mum goes home a day early, and then when she tries to go home, because she doesn't have parental permission, she can't leave. Then like these hitmen came after her, and her dad is like, basically her mum and dad are going through a divorce, and it's weird. And there's like this boy who's like son of a gangster, like comes after her, and this other boy that she knows like tries to come after her as well, and there's like the 3 of them like going through Portugal and stuff. I really enjoyed it. For a contemporary, it is so unusual, I think. Obviously if you read contemporaries all the time, it might not be so unusual, but I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. It's such a summery book, and now the weather has changed. I kind of wish I could read it, but it was really nice reading it in the sun and stuff. I could imagine I was in Portugal. Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. This was our book of the month for TBR and beyond, along with Love Songs and Other Lies and Gunslinger Girl. This was our official book of the month. Really, really, really enjoyed this. I gave it 5 stars. Female Vikings, you know, captured by the other side, and, you know, maybe a little bit of romance in there, but a case of not trusting each other and not knowing whether to or not, because it's a bit Romeo and Juliet in that way. I was a bit concerned with like the rape scene in there, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. About love, family, you know, friendship and coming together conquers all in a way. Yeah, really enjoyed it. And then the last book that I read in July, instead of the books that I continued into August, was Bright Ruin by Vic James. Oh my gosh, this ending cannot be the end. If you've read this trilogy, if you started it, anything, you have to finish it. You have to read the whole way through. I love the characters. I spoke to Vic at Yauk. If you watch my Yauk videos, you'll know part of this already. But she had been on the panel and said, like, you know, about it. And not those who deserve to survive. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, please let my faves get through. Then when I spoke to her, I was about 65% of the way through. And oh my, yeah, she did say it was all about to kick off right after that. And my gosh, it did. Some of my faves have got through to the end and are still living. Some of my faves have not. A bit upset about that. Definitely can see what she means about people don't get what they deserve. Definitely doesn't happen. But then that's life. People do not get what they deserve. And yeah, oh my. Also, something that Vic said when she was talking about this book was that I didn't realise, but it's set in art world now, which is really interesting, and that the word skill or magic in this trilogy, replace it with the word money. And yeah, everything suddenly clicks into place. Like, oh my gosh, this is happening across the world. Like, not in the way it's written, obviously, but a case of, you know, the rich are getting richer, the rich putting people down, the rich ruling. It's scary. Having read it, thinking, oh, it's just a nice book, and then suddenly realising that it is actually happening has completely changed my perspective on this trilogy. I still love it. It is a stunning trilogy. I cannot fault it in any way. Absolutely love it. But realising that it is modern day and seeing it happen, yeah, that's it for my July wrap up. Enjoy the book you're reading, and I'll speak to you soon.